All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give our praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash, Davana Zedels, Apostle Ray Mills, Son of Thomas, Truth and Will. Peace, blessing, salutation to Akim out there, spread abroad to the four corners of the earth, that's serving the truth and the true sincerity. To I say Shalom. There's a brother in the Bible come to another video in the spirit. And the topic of this video is going to basically be about it's time to lock into the spirit, okay? It's time to really lock in because, I just feel like just meditating, these past, few weeks, coming out of the Passover, just seeing how things are going. We have to make sure that we're actually being sharp, okay, and that that we're really being I want to say that we just really know the breakdowns of these scriptures, okay? So it's really time to lock in and make sure that we're all on one accord, and that that we're preparing ourselves for anything that is that we can be encountered with in the future, okay? And that's just something I've been meditating on, just to see that little event that happened, with brothers, that went up to IOC camp. Not saying that, brothers was wrong, but, that's why the order is put out for us not to go up to camps anyway, because, that's a losing battle anyway. But just to avoid anything like that in the future, say anybody wants to come up to us and try to, blitz us or whatever, that we able to stand on our 10 toes, okay? So just want to do this video about just locking in, okay? Because we're things are happening. This could be it. This could be the year. So we want to make sure that we're on our A game, and we got to treat it like I'm in the sports, so I approach things with like a sports mindset. You have your regular season, then towards the regular season, you enter into the playoff. So when you enter into the playoffs, you start entering into a different zone. You start locking in, because once you get into the playoffs, that's when you're completely locked in. You don't want to be trying to get locked in once you're in the playoffs. You want to be locked in, because at that point you're aiming towards a goal, which is what to make it to the championship and to win it. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're same thing we're doing here. We make sure that we get locked in now, so we can already be locked in when things are start happening. Okay, you shouldn't be trying to get locked in when all hell start breaking, unless you already should be there. So we can endure all the way to the end, so we can be saved out of this place. That's our championship, receiving that salvation. So I'm gonna start off with this scripture. This is Ecclesiastes 3:1. It says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to cast away. A time to rend, and a time to sow. A time to keep silence, and a time to speak. A time to love, and a time to hate. A time of war, and a time of peace." So I brought up this scripture to basically show you it's a time for everything, okay? Especially the last verse I just read says a time of war and a time of peace. We're entering into a time of war, not physical war, but spiritual war, okay? And it's going to get physical at some point, but right now it's a spiritual war, okay? And that's where we're in, and and it's going to even get even more serious, okay? So we got to make sure that we're preparing ourselves for these things that are coming up. So it's really time out for, in that chilling or partying mindset. Okay, it's gonna be times where we're gonna have some good times, but you shouldn't be chasing that on a daily or a weekly basis. Okay, sometimes you may have to, sit down, for a few days or a week or a couple weeks or whatever, and just chill and just be locked into the spirit. So ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, because we don't know how long we're gonna have access, to the internet, to YouTube, to brothers. We don't know, so we shouldn't take none of this time for granted. Don't take your free time or your leisure time and BS around with it. Actually use that time to be productive in the scriptures and the truth in His ministry. I'm gonna come over here. This is First Peter 5:8. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." Because you have Esau Edom trying to what, devour us. Trying to see who he can take down, trying to see who he can get. So we have to make sure that we're on our A game at all times. Okay, they're gonna try to come at us any type of way. This is something I was talking about with the brothers earlier. We don't know how Esau could come. We know we got spies. In our camps, but Esau can have spies out here in our everyday life. He can have spies when you at the job. He can send spies to encounter you and anything else that you may do, because he keeping track of our every move. So we have to always make sure on our A game, always make sure that we're conducting ourselves in the right way. Because one slip up is really all it takes in this society. It's really all it takes, especially for us. We got to make sure that we're not doing anything that the ministry be blamed. We got to make sure that we're not doing anything that can incriminate ourselves either. Because it's easy for Esau to spin a story and to make it seem like we did something that we didn't do it, but one slip up and that's it. So we always got to be on it. This is Proverbs 4:7. It says, "Wisdom is a principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding." Wisdom is a principal thing. So first and foremost, we got to make sure that we're building ourselves up with this wisdom and knowledge and this understanding. Okay. So as you learn things, make sure you get the complete understanding of it. This is the time to really be asking any questions that you may have about anything, or get clarification on anything that you think you need clarification on. Okay, right now, the Spirit has it where we're going. We're actually getting back into the milk and getting back into basics. Okay, just to make sure that brothers are sharp, and brothers and make sure brothers are all on the same accord and all on one page. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, because sometimes it's okay to go back in the beginnings. Like I say, I'm a sports guy, so I always think about sports. Like, coming up in sports, as you master, basic drills, you start adding different things to your repertoire. But what? You still always go back and do some of those basic drills just so you can make sure you're keeping yourself sharp. Same thing we have to do with these scriptures. Same thing we have to do in this ministry. Sometimes we have to go back to the things that we learned in the beginning to make sure to keep ourselves sharp. Because as you continue to grow, you continue to learn new things, and sometimes you're learning a lot at one time. So you got to make sure that you're retaining everything that you're learning. So you just got to go back. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Let me grab this. This is Isaiah 46:8. It says, "Remember this, and show yourselves men, bringing again to mind, all ye transgressors." So the point I want to grab on this is, show yourselves as men. We got to remember to conduct ourselves as man in this thing. Okay, it's time to put away that old mindset you used to have. That childish mindset. Not saying that brothers are being childish, but don't give into the flesh. That's the best way I can put it. We're in this flesh, so sometimes you may want to tap into. I'm not saying something that's completely on off, but just tap into some shit you don't need to be tapping to, doing some shit that you ain't got no really business doing. But you just thinking about that fun moment. It should be fun for a little moment, and then let's say something ends up happening, or you cause something to happen that, or put yourself in a position that you really could have avoided. So I always think about that. That's where you always have to, use wisdom. Fully think about something before you do it. Think about the consequences. Think it's even worth it. No matter what it is, like it can be simple as going out. You done been out like the past 2 weekends. Do you really need to go out the third weekend? No, you don't have to. You don't have to go out all the time. It's nothing wrong if a brothers to do that, but I'm saying something. You don't have to. There's nothing wrong with just sitting down sometimes and chilling out. Okay, let's say you get in there counter with somebody. Ain't nothing wrong with taking a low. Okay, you ain't gotta act like that young man we once was. Okay, where when we were some brothers who was younger, probably had a temper, or you just they feel like they have to get right or defend themselves, stand up for themselves. No, just take the low. The Lord sees it. They're not getting over. Everything is being recorded, and they're gonna get what's coming to them. Speaking on that, I'm gonna grab this last scripture, and then I'm gonna close out, cause this the mindset we gotta have. Corinthians 13 and 11. It says, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. So now we're men now. Okay, we're men of the Lord. So as men of the Lord, it's a certain type of way we got to conduct ourselves. It's a certain type of way we have to think. Okay, so that old way of thinking, that childish way of thinking that we used to have, we got to put that away. Okay, we have to, like I just brought up, we have to show ourselves as men. And that comes with a lot of responsibility. Okay, we're not just the average Jake walking around here. Okay, we have a certain standard about us. Okay, and people see it. And sometimes it's too much. Some people, they don't try to take us off our A game, but don't allow it to happen to you. Can allow yourself to continue to keep a level headed. To stay wise, continue to use wisdom. And continue to just walk in that straight and narrow. And let the Lord take care of the rest. So that's pretty much it. Oh Lord, when this video was edifying, I'm gonna close out by giving our praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash, Shalom.